Johannesburg's bus rapid transit system is set to provide high quality and affordable public transport. Currently, traffic congestion remains a huge problem for commuters. The idea is to have a world-class transport system that is fast, reliable and safe. The City of Johannesburg's member of the Mayoral Committee for Transport, Rea Vaya, met with us to explain the latest deadline, as well as give us a sense of what long-suffering commuters can expect with the Rea Vaya bus transit system.
All the building blocks in terms of the end of August deadline are in place. Infrastructure, as you can see, is firmly on the ground. 25 kilometers of dedicated route that has been constructed in a very short space of time. 25 stations. Buses are certainly in Gauteng. Drivers from the taxi industry are currently being trained. Negotiations with the taxi industry, formal negotiations, are imminent. And we do believe that the starter service as at the 30th of August is realizable. And ultimately we believe that in the interest of commuters, the need to start testing and refining the system towards the full service in January 2010 is extremely important.
The previous deadline of June 2009 was scuppered when taxi bosses felt that the BRT system would render their industry obsolete. Musaji explained how they would be incorporated into the new system.
I think as Johannesburg, we've continuously articulated that there is a large portion of the taxi industry in Johannesburg in particular who are working in a very constructive manner with the city through the BRT steering committee and through the now mandated negotiating team. But there is a section of the industry, both in Johannesburg and more broadly, that continue to raise concerns about representation, who has mandates, who represents, and then of course the real issues about job losses, profits, and feasibility of coming into the system, financial models, etc. I think we have constantly encouraged people to say, come to the negotiating table, because it really is at that forum, in fact, where all of these issues can be ironed out. But I think a firm commitment has been made by the previous Minister of Transport and has continued into the new administration to say that integrated rapid public transport network systems, including BRT systems, must work to bring in existing operators to absorb jobs that are currently there into new systems.
For now, it's all systems go for the end of August, when Phase A1 will take passengers from Soweto to Ellis Park.
Phase 1A is routing from Regina Mundi in Soweto. The station there is called Lakeview Station, through to Ellis Park via the inner city, coming through the Patambata Soweto Transitway. And essentially, as I've indicated, 25 kilometers of trunk route dedicated infrastructure for buses has been built. 25 stations have been built. The starter service will not be what the full service will be, so we'll be starting a much more modest starter service. Essentially, Phase 1A, we have 143 buses on that phase, but for a variety of reasons we'll be starting with some 40 buses. We will really be concentrating on providing a morning peak and an evening peak service, and that will gradually grow into a full service that runs from 5 in the morning through to midnight, and we hope to be there by January of next year.
The BRT is set to bring in quite a significant revenue for its operators and will provide many opportunities for development and investment to the city.
Year one, we're looking at approximately 160 million rand, and of course, essentially the financial model tries to balance fare revenue that is received from the ticket box with expenses that are there in the system, and there really are a variety of contracts that the city has with various contractors: the bus operating contractor, the station management contractor, the fare collection contractor, and would really have to ensure that all of those contracts are actually, perhaps the important thing to say in terms of the new bus operating company, and if it's composed of the taxi industry, is that the bus operating company is not necessarily paid for the number of passengers carried on the system, but is in fact paid for the number of vehicle kilometers run as determined by the city authority, to say that's the number of kilometers we want you to run on this day, and is actually paid at an agreed rate, which is part of the negotiation.
Besides offering safe, fast and reliable public transportation, one of the major benefits would be relief to the environment.
The reality is that the bulk of people who actually suffer the adverse impact of poor air quality are people who never own cars, but it's in fact the high emissions in our city that contributes to poor air quality. So certainly Euro 4 engines on the buses, and we will be baselining the current air quality and then monitoring the impact that cleaner technology brings on air quality.
Efficiency, speed and convenience will be the hallmarks of a public transportation system that seems set to bring a great improvement to the lives of Johannesburg commuters.